So today we're going to be taking a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. This is the third Wixel we have done so far, and yeah, we're definitely running out of ideas. But I think we should just go ahead and start this thing because let's quit yapping and let's get smacking. We're going to be starting Wixel down here in Malaysia, in this like Singaporean area, as we have a few people kind of like starting out here, and they're going to be able to take over southern Malaysia quite quickly and basically just start exploring a lot. And they're probably not like full-fledged countries yet, they're most likely just small tribes just forming a kind of union, I guess under one sort of like personal union or something. But they're going to decide to expand their influence a little bit across more of like southern Malaysia, and they're also going to go more up north and just like start to explore. And eventually some people are going to decide to go into Sumatra and just explore around the island as well. And they get to the north and they're like, this could be a nice place to start up a new kind of country. But the red team, they want to start up a colony sort of around here, but the people aren't really going to allow it. And what happens is a bit of a kind of backlash, kind of like sort of not civil war, but more of a little rebellion as the blue team kind of takes over all the red team settlements that they had here, and we have a new Sumatran country. After this kind of screw up, the red team's going to decide to explore and set up more trading kind of colonies down here inside of Sumatra, just like this, which is quite easy for them to do. But the blue team is also going to start to explore this the western side of the island, and this whole middle part is also discovered in the process, and also these islands over here. And they also go to this river, however they don't really want to pass this river, and that's going to cause some stuff in a bit. But there's going to be like some probably skirmish wars between these two countries for a couple of like decades or something, and eventually some people are going to have enough, and they're going to decide to say, right, okay, we're starting a new nation up north, and we don't want to deal with any more fighting, and we want to form our own thing and get away from this whole fighting, which is what they're going to do as they come up the Southeast Asian kind of peninsula tail area. And we have this new Thailand country popping up right here and taking over this whole like area, thin area. So yeah, and actually the blue team are like, oh dang, well that wasn't good, so they're going to do the one necessary thing that they can do and expand. As the red team will sort of take over a lot of the tribes that are over here at the minute, and what they're going to do is expand to this point where they can do something like this. And the blue team is going to expand down here across the northern part of Sumatra, taking over a vast kind of empire. They're not really empires, but just the collection of states, I guess. And over here in the blue team, we have a second city being formed, which is kind of like a town that gets promoted up to being a major city. And quite soon after, the red team will also have one set up right here. And yeah, you can see down in where the red team's been for a long time, it's more there's more cities down there obviously, and there's also going to be one here. And the line team will take some inspiration and make one here. However, the line team is pretty isolationist, so it's not really like they're going to do much following these two. But people from the blue team have now had enough, as the I guess people on the blue team I've had enough of the blue team just not wanting to pass the river. So the red team's like, hey, we'll help you guys leave the blue team because we don't like the blue team, and they're going to supply these guys down here from down Sumatra. And they do this under one condition, is that they are able to set up a colony down here in the in this strait here, well, the Strait of Malacca, and just do something like this. The blue team is extremely unhappy with this, and we'll see what this is going to do in a minute. But these guys are going to get down here to southern Sumatra, also discovering these islands as well in the process. I don't know why. Then they're going to jump rock over here to Java, and they're like, okay, this island's a lot nicer than the other ones we've been on, so we're going to set up a civilization down here along these two areas, and basically just form their own country, which is quite easy. They actually can have two cities, and that's going to make both of them like trading cities. And you have one in Sumatra and one in Java, and the main capital city is going to be in Java, just like that. But then the blue team is going to get, or the blue team and red team and tension is going to get to a point where they can't like stand each other anymore. And what's going to happen is the blue team is going to expand down south, a pretty normal thing to do. However, then they launch an invasion of the red team's Sumatran colony, and they fully take over all of Malaysia and Sumatra. And they kind of stop the red team from invading back in because they're strong like that. And the blue team has now basically become stronger than the red team quite early on. They're also going to take over these islands as well, and the red team is quite sad with this. They just lost one of their most valuable areas, which is the Strait of Malacca. So they're going to go, well, this is east. And their boats are going to land down here in Borneo, in which they're going to start to set up many colonies around, or trading colonies, which are kind of like, they're probably all joined in with one separate or one single like thing, so like this. But the city, they're going to also put one here. The blue team is also going to make a city down here in the Strait of Malacca, And in the meantime of this, we have all the rest of Sumatra getting discovered, and also these islands over here. And the red team is also going to continue their exploration along all of Borneo, but they're going to discover something that is quite weird in this area here, and they may not be alone, as there is a yellow country right here, and these guys have been around for a lot longer, and they're sort of a collection of tribes similar to how these guys were at the start, and they're less advanced than the red team. But the red team is going to decide that they're not going to want to fight these guys, and instead they're going to kill the tribes that don't really agree with them and take over a lot more of their kind of land. And they're going to be quite friendly towards the Borneans, and also they're going to take over this island as well, because why not? With all these new resources from Borneo, they're going to be able to expand a lot more up north into the Malaysian Peninsula and do something like this. And the blue team is like, dang, we're falling off at the minute, so they're going to actually expand past the river finally and do something like this. And well, yeah, now the red team's probably stronger than the blue team at the minute, just because of like the amount of wealth they're getting from here. But we also have Java to explore the rest of Java, which is cool, I guess. And they're also going to expand to encompass pretty much half of Java. And they're also going to finally make an agreement with the blue team, and that is to colonize the rest of Sumatra. They don't really like each other, but I mean, it's probably worth it. You get some land, they get some land, it's fine, you know. And the Sumatra is quite decently valuable, but probably not as valuable as maybe Borneo. But yeah, it's taken, and it's, you know, what you expect would happen. It's completely taken by both these countries. Also, the blue team taking these final islands here, and the blue team is now stuck for expansion after these islands, and they can't expand anywhere else. So they're going to go into a period of just kind of focusing on themselves and doing other things other than colonizing areas, and they're going to cement themselves down as they build many major cities along the coastal areas here, and even one that's next to the mouth of this river. We're going to have the first island city being created, like a small island right here, and the red team will do a similar thing as they'll build more cities along Borneo and the Malaysian Peninsula. And the same thing with Java as well, as they'll make a new city down here. We then have a lot more of Borneo getting discovered, and yeah, you can pretty much guess. But over here, the red team will kind of help work with the yellow team to expand up, and they realise that they're not the only ones down in Borneo, as a new country will like reveal themselves. As the northern Borneo country is officially discovered by the red team, and the red team's like, okay, well that's enough exploring for now, let's just focus on ourselves. The purple team does not think that though, as they're going to expand further down into Java once again, as that's basically all they can do now. But then they think, hey, the red team's discovering this Borneo island, so we're going to make a landing down in the south and start to explore it. I'm sure the red team will hand over a few of their little trading towns for us, and they set up a few of their own, as we have a few kind of colonies started around Borneo. And just like that, you know, it's pretty simple. They'll be created. And quickly, the purple team will manage to link up all of their colonies. And, well, we have southern Borneo, I guess, being colonised. Cities-wise, these are going to be what it looks like. And eventually, we have a pretty large event. That's going to be the rest of the Malaysian Peninsula getting colonised. And the lime team's going to finally decide, you know, we can move up north because there's nowhere else that we can really go. So I'll do a huge exploration group to send up north. This is a few thousand people definitely in it, and they'll also be able to discover a lot of Southeast Asia at the same time, and push up into the jungles because they're quite familiar with that habitat. And eventually they'll have a huge expansion, which is going to meet up with this river here, where they basically decide to call it a day then with expansion and do something like this. And the Night team is a pretty peaceful nation, so, well, it's not like they're, you know, going to have any rivals at the minute. So they're basically just going to do something like this. Over to the green team, actually, they're going to actually decide to finally take inspiration from the red team, which they've seen what they're doing. And they're going to explore some Filipino islands, which is the first time that they've been discovered, so they're going to also take this one here. But then we have a pretty big war taking place between the red team and the green team, as the red team has also made landings down in the Philippines with their big navy. They've colonised these few islands here, and they're going to go to war with the green team. And it's a pretty simple war. The red team will simply just take all of this like here from the green team, and the green team is going to be left just to not have any land in the Philippines. And the red team will continue to explore the Philippines in hopes of setting more colonies up in the area. And they'll, you know, explore a lot of the northern Philippines for the minute, because I guess it's getting to the point where naval travel is getting a lot easier. Obviously, if we started somewhere where there wasn't really any water, then it'd be a lot harder for these guys to do so. But there's like so much like space in between. Like we started in an area that has a lot of well, the humans are adapted to travelling in water, so they're able to do this quite early on, which may be unrealistic, but maybe they just have a really advanced boat technology. Like who really cares? It's fine. And they're going to colonize a lot of land. That is going to be all of the northern Philippines here, basically taking over some land that looks something like this. And also down here, Java is going to start to explore a lot more of the islands, all these Indonesian islands as well. I don't know why there's green there, but yeah. and they're going to expand like to do something like this, and it's quite well, you know, good. And eventually they'll finally take over the rest of Java, which is a pretty simple event to happen, but it's taken a long time. And that's going to be it for today's episode. We're going to have one last event, which is going to be the blue team starting to kind of get out of their comfort zone, and they're going to discover these islands, and then they're going to decide to go a bit more kind of well, northwest, and their boats are going to land down in Sri Lanka quite early on, and well, they're going to call it or explore the rest of Sri Lanka. And it's quite simple what they're going to do. They're going to take this for their own, and they get into India, but then they realise, wow, well, this area is a lot more, I guess, country-ish than we thought, as there are a lot more countries than they originally thought in this area. Turns out this whole time India's been quite habitated with. They're going to try and they're basically just going to try and sneak around these guys and colonize up, or I guess explore a lot more of India, and just sneakily, you know, not really touching the country's borders or anything. Eventually they're going to be noticed, and a big war's going to start, which right after I add major cities this video is going to end, but well, you'll see the war in the next episode. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Yeah, like I said at the start of the video, this is like the 6th Wixel we've done on this channel, so hope this one's actually going to stay. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.